these aren't necessarily who we think are the 5 best players. These are guys that it comes time in the draft room. These are your guys. You're an area scout for team A or whatever. These are the guys you would, if somebody asks you, we're in round 5, give us a guy. So I threw out 5 names, and if you've listened to our podcast every week or whatever, you've heard me talk about these guys. I won't, you can read it at draftcount.com, but Jason Brownlee, wide receiver, Southern Miss, obviously was going to be on this list as much as I've talked about him. Couldn't have a list of mine go out without having a South Carolina player. And I feel like Darius Rush, just tremendous process he's had, and getting to see him at the Senior Bowl, big influence on me. I've mentioned Tajay Spears a lot before he blew up the Senior Bowl as well. I really like Jason Taylor. I've written about him a lot this year on the site, the safety from Oklahoma State. And I love Johnny Lumpkin, the tight end from Louisiana. And like I said, he's probably not getting drafted, but he's visited a few teams. I think he's going to be a priority free agent, as a blocking tight end. Guys that can block and play special teams, they're going to make a roster, be it as a late round draft pick or as a free agent. I think Johnny Lumpkin's one of those guys. So those are my 5 guys, Shane. So let's go into a little more detail here with you. Who are Shane's guys in the 2023 NFL draft class?
And I'll kind of list these in the order I think they get drafted in. So my number 1, fringe first round pick. I don't think he goes in the first round, but I would bang the table for him late in round 1. That's Anton Harrison, the offensive tackle from Oklahoma. I feel like I've talked about him on the podcast since we relaunched it because he wasn't getting much publicity, but might be the best pure pass protection off left tackle in this draft. Very finesse. I tend to like those guys. Like, give me someone that can protect the quarterback and I'll make it work. I feel like Anton Harrison has the feet. He has the ability to mirror. I love his kick slide. I think he has everything. I think he's going to be a franchise left tackle, even if you get him in round 2. My second guy, it really was the Senior Bowl that sold him for me, is Keanu Benton, the defensive lineman from Wisconsin. I just love the leverage, the effort, the toughness. A lot of times defensive linemen are tough, I think, even watching the game film. So if they're getting double teamed consistently, there's very few that can beat that double team if you are your first round pick. Benton's not that guy, but you watch him against Ohio State. I mean, they put Matthew Jones and Luke Whippler, Luke Whippler's going to be a top 100 pick, and they put them on him every play, two heads, and he was, there were times he was still getting through and filling gaps. Like, I want that kind of toughness against the run. I think he has a little bit more pass rush than you think. I like Keanu Benton. Number 3, a guy I've been raving about for years, Tucker Kraft, tight end out of South Dakota State. Comped him as a prospect similar to Travis Kelce as a prospect, whereas kind of more two-way tight end blocker, doesn't look fast, but is always open, making the tough catch and then running guys over after the catch. I think if his health is good, I think Kraft, is going to be a legitimate starting tight end in the league. You can get him around 3, round 4. I love that. Number 4 is Jacorian Bennett, the corner from Maryland. We've talked about on here, like I think he actually played better than Deonte Banks on a more consistent basis. Similar to, Darius Rush, South Carolina always suffers that problem where you have a Cam Smith and the other guy starts getting picked on. He's got to step up his game. I think Jacorian Bennett did that, has the speed, has the athleticism, not as big, but he gets in there and he has the skills to position himself to knock passes down. The number 5, I don't know if maybe he's a round 7 pick, but Andre Yeshivas, the receiver from Princeton, I've loved for a while. I have the column up. He didn't quite hit the Christian Watson heights for the draft height, but I think as a developmental receiver to get that speed, size, and a player who really took a big jump from last year to 2 years ago to this past season playing, really looks like a football player. I think we're going to see Yeshivas in a year or 2 down the line have a role, an injury happens, he gets out there and starts balling out. People are like, whoa, who's this guy from Princeton? So those are my 5. Yeah, that was a fun exercise to look through the list and be like, oh yeah, these are my guys.
Your last 2 guys are the most intriguing for me. Jacorian Bennett is a guy that I think position versatility, special teams, all that is going to work in his favor. And same thing with Andre Yeshivas. I think he can be a versatile wide receiver, whereas play outside, play inside. And I think he's going to hit a lot for special teams coaches around the league. And both those guys probably going to come off the board, I think, early day 3, at worst 5th round, I think, for both those guys. So, yeah, those are some good spots there. But, yeah, I look forward to seeing where these guys come off the board, and it's gonna be fun, man. I'm really looking forward to
can't wait.
8 nights away, from the NFL draft, essentially.